So in today's video, I'm going to be providing some tips on how to retain your hair length. Your hair grows regardless if you can't tell. Unless you have some type of medical condition or you're going through some type of treatment, your hair grows. So I'm going to be giving some tips and I'm going to be doing a demonstration. So stay tuned. There are some people out there who believe their hair cannot grow past a certain length, and you have to figure out what is going on. If you follow a strict regimen or you just do everything and your hair will not you cannot retain length after a certain point, you have to figure out whether it's internal or external. So internal prime examples are like, are you eating the right foods? Are you drinking enough water? Are you having some type of side effects from a medication that you're taking? Are you lacking some type of vitamins that promotes hair growth? And the only way to figure that out, you have to go to a doctor and get like a blood test. So yeah, that's internal. External, are you using too much heat? Are you getting your hair trimmed when it's needed? Are you using products where the ingredients don't agree with your hair? You have to figure out what is going on, because if you don't, how can you retain length if you don't know what's going on? So once you figure out what's going on in your current situation, you have to come up with your own routine, because I can give you what I do for my routine, but it's not guaranteed to help you retain length from the routine that I provide for you. So you have to come up with your own routine, because my hair texture may be different from yours. My hair strands may be different from yours. The density of my hair may be different from yours. So you have to come up with your own customized regimen, because if you're lacking some type of vitamins, you have to incorporate that into your routine, because I may not be lacking that type of vitamin. So you have to come up with your own customized routine, because that is the only way you're going to be able to retain length. So I'm going to give you a prime example of what I do for my routine. So for my routine, whether I'm doing braids or protective style or whatever, and then I have a routine for when I'm using heat. So when I'm doing a protective style, I shampoo, I deep condition, I do it both together. It works best for my hair. I do a leave-in. After I do the leave-in and my hair's still wet, I'm not using any heat. I'm using the moisturizer. I'm sealing that moisture with some grease. Now, if I'm doing braids like this and I need for my hair to be stretched, I'm putting my hair into these little ponytails and I'm pulling the ponytails and connecting them to stretch it out. I'm trying to stay away from heat, trying to change my life. So, and yeah, that's it for that routine. If my hair does not need to be stretched, I just braid it up while it's still wet. It dries eventually. My hair dries quick, so I'm not worried about it being wet. So yeah, that is what works best for me when I do protective styles. Now, if I'm using heat, my routine change a bit, because I have to incorporate some type of protein in my hair, because you use heat, you're going to lose protein. So I shampoo. I deep condition, leave-in. After that leave-in, I'm using a heat protector. I blow it out and I straighten. Do not use oils when you're straightening your hair, because that is what causes damage. So, and in these routines, if my hair is needed for a trim, I trim it. Don't be scared to trim it. If your hair is needs a trim, cut it off. Cut it off. You don't have to cut off if you have this much damage and your hair is going to be up, in braids or whatever. Just cut it off. It'll grow back. But if you want to cut it off in phases, you know, do what works best for you. But for me, if it's damaged, I'm cutting it off, because you can't retain length if it's damaged, because it's going to continue to break off. Every time you comb, it's going to continue to break off. So yeah, in both routines, trim, whatever. That's it. I keep it simple. Please note that your hair does not split to the roots. How can it split to the roots if it constantly breaks off? So now you have to come up with a style that works best for you. Now, the style that works best for me is braids, of course, and wigs. You can also wear like buns, or you could come up with your, be creative, come up with your own style to where you're not constantly combing it, because the only way you're going to retain length if you just leave your hair alone, because your hair is like elastic. This is elastic right here. If you're constantly combing in it, okay, this is like your hair in a protective style. If you're constantly combing your hair, pulling, tugging, brushing, doing whatever, your hair is going to have a lot of mechanical damage. This is just me going through the little strands. Do you see the difference? Do you see the wear and tear compared to this right here, where your hair is just constantly being left alone? Can you tell? Like, look at that. Your hair is like elastic. Even with a fresh trim, if you constantly comb your hair or you constantly style your hair can get wear and tear from being combed so much, and it starts to break off. So if you're constantly combing your hair, you're causing a lot of mechanical damage. You're causing breakage. Your hair is very fragile. So you have to come up with a style that works best for you, because your scalp may not agree with the extension hair. Be creative, come up with your own style where your ends are tucked away, because that is the only way you're going to retain length. So let me get on to the heat portion of this video. Do not use grease to blow your hair out, and do not use grease to flat iron your hair, because you're literally frying your hair. Like when you're frying chicken, you put the chicken in the grease and the heat causes it to fry. It's the same thing with your hair. You cannot do that. That is disrespectful. Okay? You can't do that. So if you're using heat, use a heat protectant, but do not use oil, because you get that flat iron and start to sizzle, your hair is frying, and you're losing the protein that is in your hair. Your hair is made of keratin, which is a protein. You're literally frying your hair. Like, you lose that protein, it causes your hair to get thinner and thinner, and then it just start to break. That's it. Plain and simple. So we're not at the end of the video. I'm going to do an overview of everything I talked about in this video. Number one, figure out what's going on, what is causing your hair to break, or what is causing your hair to not retain length, or what is going on in your body internal, or what are you doing to cause the breakage on your hair. The routine, you have to come up with your own routine. I stress that in the video because I can give you a bunch of steps and stuff, but it may not work for you. But you have to customize, a routine that works best for you and whatever your hair is lacking. And I gave you an example of my routine. The style portion, come up with a style where your ends are not being exposed, basically, because if you leave your hair alone, it will grow. And I did a demonstration to show how your hair gets like wear and tear if it's not being protected. And heat. Use it when it's necessary, and don't abuse it, because heat is also another factor that causes your hair to break. You know, use a heat protectant. I can't stress that enough. I hope this video is helpful. I've been trying to record this since the day before forever. So yeah, I wanted my video to be a little different from what other people put out, because like, you know, you can give steps or whatever, but if the person don't know what's going on with their hair, it's not going to work for them. So I wanted my video to be a little different and to see what is causing the problem, because if you don't know what's causing the problem, how can you solve it? So thank you for watching the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope this helps you out on your hair journey.